All right. Before I get started, I did want to express my gratitude to Creative Mornings for having me, Chris, for I don't know, you might have called me about a dozen times. Hey, can we have coffee? And anyways, asking me if I wanted to speak today, and also the plug. Proud of you. My first time in the space. Where'd they go? They disappeared. I was not the one that helped them get this space, but they walked into another space of mine that I had listed, and that's how I met them, and knew that this project was coming along. So it's really exciting to be standing up here. I'm also going to, speaking of plugs, take 60 seconds to do a shameless plug of my own events coming up. Two of which are hosted by the Chattery, my homegirls in the back. Let's get it on. So on Sunday morning at 10 a.m., I am teaching a yoga class in Riverview Park. You can still sign up for that on the Chattery's website, along with another workshop I'm having in October 12th, called F Your Critics, which I have taught before. And the FUCK is an acronym for how to dismiss your critics and find your why. And then the other is not my event, but I'm involved with the Library Foundation. And on Sunday, they're gonna have books at Boneyard off of Main Street. So you can have a beer and buy a book, and it supports the foundation and a lot of the programming that they have happening at the library. So that's my shameless, but it ain't no shame up here at all. All right, so simplicity. If any of you all know me in real life, you know that my life looks anything but simple. It actually feels a lot of really complex. Also, my youngest daughter, Aziza, is with me today. So I'm a single parent of two girls. Nothing simple about that. One is 16, the other, this little one, is 5. So I thought I heard something in the definition that said the opposite of chaos. Chaos every morning in my house. Every morning. So I did look up the definition. She know. She is part of it. The quality or condition of being easy to understand. And here is the reason why I chose this topic to speak on, is because I have been feeling this sort of this craving to get back to a very simple existence, to the point where I want to take trash bags into my house and just throw all that. Can we cuss on Creative Mornings? Yeah. Okay. Throw all that shit out. All of it. All of it. The rugs, the clothes we can't fit anymore. Somehow clothes just grow out of the corners of the house. And so that's what I've been working towards almost daily this year. So it just total synchronicity that this topic came up, and that is something that I'm actively pursuing, including creating space in my calendar for just taking a nap. We like naps, Habini? Okay, so with 2 jobs, so I'm a commercial real estate broker. I was about to say a creative morning. I am a creative morning today. Commercial real estate broker majority of the time, and then recently appointed half-time at UTC as an entrepreneur in residence, which I'm more of a facilitator, a coach in that role, but it still is taking a lot of time, along with raising 2 same but different girls. So having a toddler and a teenager, it feels like it should be different. It's the same. It's just one has more words than the other. So I'll explain how I'm moving towards that by giving you all a kiss. So you might have heard this saying called "keep it simple, stupid." Well, stupid is not a good word in our house, although somebody likes to say shit when she forgets a toy upstairs. So I switched it up a little bit, and I said, let's keep it simple and sanguine, which sanguine is a word that I hadn't heard it since I read some book in maybe high school, but one of my friends used that word to describe me, and I looked up the definition and got reacquainted with it. And it basically means optimistic, positive, cheerful, and confident, which does sound like me. So I decided to break that down even further. So I'm moving towards simplicity by, one, knowing my worth. I know that sounds cliche, but also it has been the most dramatic experience to recognize my worth, because there's this part when you realize your value that you also realize how much you didn't value yourself and that you put up with for so long. So there's this season of grief, rage, sadness, all right after you're like, man, I'm worth so much more than a toxic relationship. I'm worth so much more than coming to work and my boss belittling me in front of other people. So it's been that, knowing my worth, letting go of the toxic relationships, which we know that is a grief, especially if it's someone that you've had in your life for some time, or it might be family, people that I've had in my home. I think that was probably the most devastating. I'm from New Orleans originally, and hospitality is a big thing. So if somebody invites you to their house for red beans and rice and you say no, we probably gonna get offended, because we just like loving on people. It just is a part of the culture. So people that I've let in my home, I've had to just be at peace with them not moving into the next season of my life with me. So knowing my worth, and then also being intentional. So I will start thinking about intentionality. So my contacts are blurring up. I'm gonna be winking at y'all all the rest of the talk. The question I ask myself when I'm thinking through how to be intentional is, what's the next right step? And it doesn't always feel like the safest step. Sometimes it's scary. So the role at UTC was just a text to one of my mentors, Mike Bradshaw. Hey, I want to learn more about this UVI program you have at UTC. He's like, oh, all right, well, let's just go have coffee. He then asked me if I wanted to facilitate the program and step into the role, which is great. If you know anything about commercial real estate, the sales cycles are long. So having the extra cash flow is, I probably wouldn't say no to that. But at first I thought, how am I going to fit that into, how is that being simple? Well, the extra cash flow allows me to hire someone to come and clean up the piles of laundry. It also allows me to get memberships to some of the museums around town so that I can take somebody to get a little bit more of their energy out. So in that moment, it felt like the next right thing. And I have been having so much fun in that role. My students at UTC, I teach them on Monday nights, and they have done a really great job of making me feel old. I asked them if they use their Facebook to log into their Spotify, and they go, they both just looked at me like, Miss Alexis, we ain't got Facebook. I'm like, don't you know that app was created when I was in college? It was the coolest thing. They're like, yeah, it's the mom app. So it's a good thing they don't get grades from me. But they've been fantastic, and I've been so energized being in the space with them, and also supporting entrepreneurs. Sully, one of them, that comes in on Saturday mornings. The students are paid interns for the entrepreneurs. So if they need market research, the students will do that based on their skill set. If it's accounting, they'll look at their numbers. So they're getting real world experience as consultants, and where both groups are having a ton of fun. It's the highest retention rate that they've had. This is the second year of the program, but we haven't dropped a student. We've gained students. We're kind of, at our threshold for who we can support at this point. But it's been a fantastic, we had an open house. I thought maybe 10 or 12 people, it was packed. So it's just being intentional created the energy that I was craving, one, and the impact. You all right, BB? Okay. You sure? Okay. The other is having a sense of purpose, which also is connected to being intentional. So there's a book I read called Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. And she has a chapter called Progress, Not Perfection. And I have been 100% guilty striving for perfection instead of just, you know what, I made it this far. Let me celebrate that. So that's another way that I'm moving more towards simplicity. Also, even hosting a party next week that just like, let's just celebrate making it this damn far. So digging deeper into where my soul work is, not just who I'm expected to be. So I did struggle with that coming out of GPS, and there was an expectation that we went to college. I did not work the first year. Ended up working for my dad for a little bit, coming back, graduated from UTC with my oldest daughter, she was an infant at the time. I just put her in a kangaroo pouch and went to class. But I think I really struggled with, especially being the oldest child, setting the example for my siblings. Feeling like because I'm a single mom, there's a certain, I'm about to get emotional. There's a certain place I'm supposed to be. Yes. But my life is incredible and filled with lots of laughter. Chris and I laugh all the time for hours. And many of you all are my friends in this room. And that's one of the things that I want to keep doing, keep laughing, keep creating space for laughter. So I feel like I'm moving into more of my soul's work. Sorry, y'all, I do need tissue because I got my makeup done and I don't want my eyeliner to run. Okay. The whole day. Got a lot to do today. Staying positive. And that goes a part of my sanguine personality is staying positive. So I've talked about having with my friends, like, I just want a life of ease. That doesn't mean easy. And I'll tell you what I mean by that is that every day there might present you a challenge. But having the confidence to know that you can move through it with ease because it is always figure outable. It might be tough, but saying like, okay, I have the village to help me move through the support I need as a single parent. And creating that ease in my life. I mean, sometimes it's even as simple as like putting a yummy dinner in the crock pot. So yeah, so there are challenges. So one of the other things I didn't put in my bio was a company that I launched back in 2011 when I was a senior at UTC called Natural Beautiful Me. I put it on the back burner to support other entrepreneurs, but it's a platform to empower women to embrace their natural beauty and value their identity. Saw the opportunity next month with Dame Dash, who I followed for a long time. I was like, it'd be great to just put some merch in front of him. He might like it. So anyways, got a vendor space, talked to someone about how to, which pieces of apparel I wanted to put the logo on. And then she told me how much it costs. And I was like, it's okay. Everything is figure outable. Everything is figure outable. I'm going to figure out how to get the money for this merchandise. It's a small run. I can come up with $1,500, right? So just maintaining a positive attitude. If that challenge had been presented to me, I would say maybe 2 years ago, I would have been like, forget it. I'm just not going to do it. And I would have let the event go by and sulked afterwards and really regretted that. But part of my life of simplicity is also not ignoring opportunity when it shows up and taking on the adventure, which does sound like the opposite of simple, but it really isn't. I really have created a life that I am beginning to enjoy and wake up in a great headspace after the morning chaos of getting dressed and breakfast and makeup done and all that. So if I had to leave you with one thing, it would be to ask yourself if you are in a season where you just kind of you feeling sluggish or you feeling like, man, what am I supposed to be doing? Or feeling like you're not living life on purpose is just ask yourself, what's the next right thing? It might be taking a yoga class, like on Sunday morning. It might be even just going back to the gym. My brother is in physical fitness, and he lives in Budapest now. It was at my house, and he said, "Why are you sleeping so much?" I was like, "Damn, bro, I think I'm depressed." And he was like, "Go to the gym." I'm like, "Dude, I don't feel like doing that." But I did it. I did 30 minutes on the elliptical machine, changed my entire day, and really haven't stopped working out since. It doesn't have to be you slinging weights around. Just go for a walk. Me and my sis Susan, we went, we took the stroller and we went and got a breakfast burrito on our walk, on our healthy walk. It doesn't, and had the best day. And I was like, I bumped into another friend on the sidewalk, and he was like, "Man, I want to be like you." It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. He was like, "You get to go on a walk with your friends at 10 in the morning." And I was like, yes, yes, I do. I get to go on a walk with my friends at 10 a.m. And I remember maybe 5 years ago saying, I just want to spend my morning the way I want to with my friends. And I literally have been living the life that I wanted to and just didn't take the time to just look up and say, this is where I wanted to be 5 years ago. Going on a walk with my friend and her baby that's supposed to be exercise, and we're getting a breakfast burrito. That is all my notes.